Hey everyone, it's Finn here, and in today's video, we will be rating every Premier League club's transfer window on a scale of the American grading system, basically. So from A to F, obviously A being a really good transfer, B being it's a pretty good transfer, but they could have done better. C, take it or leave it. It was pretty bad, but not the worst. D, seriously, they could have done better. And F, an absolute fail of the transfer window, with an option S being a supreme, one of the best transfer windows a team could have had. And of course, I can't do this alone, so I am joined by the Dugout Football channel. How are you doing, Doug?
I'm doing very well, Finn. Thank you very much for having me again on your collaboration, and I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I hope you're also doing well. Of course, from across the world, I'm in sunny South Africa, and it is raining on your side of the world, of course.
Oh yeah, rainy Scotland. We love it. We love it up here.
I love the contrast between the two worlds that we have. But yeah, basically we will be ranking every Premier League club's transfer window so far. And if you do not know Doug, he obviously has a where he talks about Premier League content and Liverpool content specifically, where I do United content. So if you are a Liverpool fan and you are not subscribed to me, you will wake up with Fellaini under your bed. And if you are a United fan and you are not subscribed to Dub, you'll wake up with Divock Origi in your shower, basically. So the first club, we are doing this alphabetically. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Arsenal. Doug, what do you reckon Arsenal should get on this tier list?
Ooh, it's a tricky one because they've strengthened the defence with signs of Gabriel, they've signed Cedric permanently, they've signed Mari, they've got Willian as well. I still think they need a midfielder. I still think they're lacking a little bit of creativity in that midfield. So for me, I would give them a C. But if they get a midfielder in, I would move it up to a B. It's not quite perfect, but they have had a good window, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm actually very similar to you. Of course, I have my notes next to me, my fancy notes. I can't remember everything despite what it looks like. But yeah, I've very mixed between a B minus or a C plus. But of course, we're sticking to like the solid alphabet. So I think I'm going to have to agree with you on C. I think they've actually had a pretty good transfer window. If it had to be a C, it's the higher end of C. Close to a B. I think the fact that they got Willian on a free after the season he had with Chelsea was, of course, very good. I think the centre-backs that they brought in was very good. I think Gabriel will do a solid job. They did get rid of Martinez, who, although a backup goalkeeper, that is still a big loss. But I do think we are going to have to put Arsenal on C. I think I agree with you on that. And they do need to strengthen their midfield because there's only so far you can go with Mesut Ozil.
Yeah, definitely. How they still have him on the wage bill, I'll never know.
The fact that he's the most expensive in terms of the wage bill, I'll never know. That's the real question. But then we move on to Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa, I've got notes in front of me. Of course, the big names they got in Ollie Watkins for 30 million. They got Bertrand Traore for 18. They got Martinez, Barkley on loan, Cash in the right back position, and all they've really lost is Samatta on loan. Drinkwater went back to Chelsea, and Pereira, which, I mean, I'm actually extremely impressed by what Aston Villa have done.
Yeah, I am as well. I think as you said, some of the names they've signed. Matty Cash is a very good signing from Nottingham Forest. Very good player, very good upcoming right backs. I think he will do well. Bertrand Traore, I know he had a bit of a disastrous spell at Chelsea, but you know what? Chelsea always seem to ruin their strikers.
Ooh, you're hard showing off.
So I think he'll do well. Ollie Watkins is a very good signing as well, and to get Barkley as well on loan from Chelsea. For me, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I think that's an A. I think they've had a very good window, and I think they've now got that creativity in midfield that they've been lacking.
No, I 100% agree. In fact, I've got them down as superb. I've got them down as an elite transfer window. So I don't know if you want to move it up or if I should move down. Should we negotiate on that, or what do you think?
I have to say I do agree with you. I think they have had a superb window. So yeah, I would put them on super.
Yeah, because I mean, Ollie Watkins got more than 20 goals in the Championship last season, and I've said this quite a few times. I think Barkley on his day is good enough to start for Chelsea. So the fact that Aston Villa got him, and I don't even have to mention Martinez, the way he stepped in for Arsenal last season, the fact that he won 2 trophies with them, he's kept 2 clean sheets in the Premier League so far. I think this, ladies and gentlemen, the cannons go off, our first superb transfer signing or transfer window for a team. You have to be proud of it. I think it's terrific. And then going on to the third team, we go to Brighton. Now, I have to say, I don't hate Brighton's transfer window. I've seen a lot of people give it quite a lot of trash talk. But to be fair, Ben White back on loan from Leeds, so not necessarily a transfer, but that is big for them. Veltman, a Netherlands national team regular in their team, is a huge one. And of course, Doug, you know him very, very well. It is Adam Lallana in the midfield for free. That's great, I have to say.
I think Brighton
is really good.
I think Brighton have had a very good window. I do think, though, they still need a striker. I think that I wonder if they'll get a striker in before the window shuts. But for me, they've made a good couple of signings. Veltman is a surprising one for me. I did not think he would leave Ajax to come to Brighton. But look, I mean, to be fair, Graham Potter has done really, really well at Brighton. And for me, I think they're still needing a couple of players. So for me, I would give them a B, as Brighton begins with a B. So I'll give them a B.
Of course, no. I've also got them down as a B. So luckily, we don't have to negotiate or fight on that. I'm happy giving them a B. I mean, they got rid of Montoya, who was a okay right back, but then you bring in a player like Veltman. I think nothing more has to be said about Brighton. They got rid of a few players like Moy and so on and so forth, but I think Lallana is miles ahead. Brighton, you are given a B. Moving on to our next team, but I can't say I'll give this team a B, although they start with a B. It is going to be Burnley, who, from what I've seen in terms of bringing in players, they haven't really done anything, but yet they've gotten rid of both Hendrick and Lennon in attack.
Yeah, Burnley's a weird one. I have heard that they are in for Harry Wilson, but I think that deal is all but dead. So that's another one that goes out the window. I think the big thing for them is they keep McNeil and Tarkowski. I think that would be a very good window. I know they haven't really strengthened, but it's a really tricky one because, like I said, they haven't really strengthened, but they've still got McNeil and Tarkowski. But whether or not that will happen before the end of the window is very interesting. It's a tricky one. I'd give them a D, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've got them down as either a D or an F because they haven't strengthened, but they've almost gone down a tiny bit. But I think if they get rid of McNeil, it would be an F. But in the meantime, I think I am happy with the D. I think if they keep McNeil, that is huge for them. If they keep Tarkowski, I think that's good for them. They'll probably lose McNeil in the next transfer window, in the January one. But in the meantime, I think we can give them a D. It's not the best transfer window ever, but they could have done worse. And then talking about our next team, I think we know where this is going, Doug. It is, of course, Chelsea. I hate it. Liverpool fans, close your eyes. United fan, close your eyes. Oh, wow. What are you saying, Doug?
Yeah, they've had a super window, it has to be said. I mean, Havertz, Werner, Chilwell, Thiago Silva, Mendy. The only thing that would really worry me about Chelsea is their defence. I still think they need to strengthen their defence, but apart from that, you can't really say anything other than a super window for Chelsea.
Yeah, no, you actually, I think we agree. It's good, ladies and gentlemen. There we go, our second superb elite transfer window for a team. I mean, that is great. I mean, Havertz, Werner, Chilwell. I saw Mendy in that game versus Spurs. He looked really good in the Carabao Cup. He looked like a really solid goalkeeper. I mean, look, when you compare to Kepa Arrizabalaga, I think even the likes of someone like, I don't know, JC Lingard would look like a better goalkeeper at this point. But I do have to say, I mean, the only really dodgy thing about them is the fact that they got rid of Willian for free after the signing that he did, that they didn't manage to sell them, that they let the contract run. And the only dodgy signing they brought in, I thought, was Silva, although a great one. I mean, he is getting a bit older, but I mean, you can't complain if he's for free. You really, you can't. complain of it. It's like being given a vintage sports car for free and then saying, that's a bit old. You can't complain. It is what it is. You can't complain. And then going on to the next team, looking at my notes, Crystal Palace, they have got, I think it's Eze, I think that's how you pronounce it, that's attacking midfielder from QPR. They, of course, got Michy Batshuayi in on loan. The Batman is back, Michy Batshuayi. And in terms of players going out, I mean, although didn't really play for Crystal Palace, he was, of course, out on loan. Soloth, the striker, has now gone to RB Leipzig for £20 million. He did get 24 goals last season, and that could potentially be a loss.
Yeah, Palace is another weird one because I know they've got Eze, they've obviously got the Batman in as well. I think the big thing about that is that they keep Zaha again. If they keep Zaha, I think they're in for a good season. I think we all know that Zaha wants to leave wants to leave Palace. There's no doubt about that. But it's wondering if he will want to move on, maybe either this window or January. But looking at the timing of the window that closes on Monday, I don't think he's going to go. So for me, Palace, I think they've bought well. I don't think they need to strengthen in defence. I think they're pretty happy there. Goalkeeper, they're pretty sound. Midfield, they're pretty sound. And they've added to their attack. So for me, it would be an A.
It would be an A. Okay, well, I don't know. I'm almost considering a B, but it's very tricky in terms of, I don't know, I think based off of what we saw from them last season, look, they didn't have the best season last season. And I'm a bit worried by the fact that they didn't improve that much. I think Eze could be very good, but £17 million, I think could be potentially a bit too much. Michy Batshuayi, I don't know. I'm thinking of a B. Should we go A, B? I don't know. I'm in the mix for this.
Shall we go for an A minus or something?
Yes, you're going to see it on screen. Of course, I'll have the rankings right there. It's going to be on the line. It is neither going to be A or B. I think Crystal Palace, you're just going to chill right there. You're going to be very comfortable on an A minus, B plus. And then next team. Okay, now this, I think, is a team that has done very well for themselves. It is going to be, of course, the Merseyside derby rivals. To Doug, it is going to be Everton. I don't know what to say. You get a world-class manager, you get world-class players.
I have to admit, they've had a super window. It pains me to say this, but they've had a super window. Alan, Doucouré, James Rodriguez are going to get Ben Godfrey from Norwich as well. The only thing I would say, though, get a goalkeeper, because I don't think Jordan Pickford is that goalkeeper that will be the keeper that can actually get them, top six and into Europe. But you can't really say anything another super elite, because for me they've just strengthened where they needed to strengthen, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is on absolute fire, but that's because of the midfield now of Alan, Doucouré and Andre Gomez, and with the creativity of James Rodriguez. So for me, it's super elite.
Yeah, look, I think that team's looking good. It's either going to be A or super elite, and I think we're going to have to go for super elite, because you say, well, it's just their midfield, but in fact, the rest of their team does look really good. Maybe just a new goalkeeper, but with the way the defense has been working, I don't stress too much about that. And I mean, James has added so much to the midfield. I mean, James Rodriguez, he could make Troy Deeney a 20-goal a season kind of striker. But I think super elite, I think I'm going to 100% agree with you, because Everton, with the midfield like this, they could push for a top 6, maybe even a top 4 spot at this point. Going on to our next team, it is going to be a team that spent over £100 million the last time they were in the Premier League. And they seem to be trying again, but it's not necessarily working. It is going to be Fulham. What are you saying, Doug?
I hate to say this, but it's an F for me. They just haven't strengthened in the right places. Their defence is absolutely shocking. If they lose Mitrovic, then I wouldn't count your chickens on Abu Kamara, because I don't rate him at all. So I suppose the signing of Alphonso Areola is a good signing for goalkeeper, but the problem is he's got a leaky defence ahead of him. So For me, I'm sorry, Fulham, but your window has been an F.
Yeah, it's going to be. But it's so weird, like looking at their names. You get Tete, you get Areola. They've gotten Lookman in on loan, which I think that is potentially huge. And they've pretty much signed the whole of Southampton's midfield, but they're just not quality enough players. I think they've looked at these players and said they're pretty good, but they don't look at their style of play, and it doesn't really suit their. I mean, I've looked at Fulham, and in their first 3 Premier League games, I mean, Mitrovic genuinely is the only good-looking thing about them. If not a D, it has to be an F. I tend to agree. And there we go, the first horrible club this transfer window. Fulham, I'm sorry, but you're going back to the Championship next season. Looking at our next team, though, we move on to the L. It is going to be another newly promoted team, which I'm pretty happy with. I think they've done well. I think it is going to be Leeds United.
Yeah, Leeds United have had a very good window as well. Robin Koch, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's been a good signing so far. Rodrigo will come good very, very soon. I think he'll be very, very good. I think they still need to add another midfielder. I know they were interested in Michael Cousins, but that seems to have fallen through. So, really difficult because they have strengthened at the back. I think they needed to strengthen at the back. They're good. They're getting a winger in from Feyenoord, I think, as well. It's not quite super elite, but I would give them an A.
No, I think I've also got them down as an A. I mean, Rodrigo, you can't really look at the way he's played so far because, look, on paper, it is a terrific signing. He is a Spanish international, played for Valencia for many years, looked like a top striker there, although doesn't necessarily score the goals. And I mean, I'll put out the bold prediction that I think Bamford will score more goals in the striker position than him. But on paper, it is good. Koch also very good. And to be able to still have Harrison and Helder Costa on loan, that is absolutely huge for Leeds United. They do need to strengthen in 1 or 2 more positions. I think Melier, I think that's how you pronounce it, the goalkeeper, as well on loan. That is huge for them, but they do need to make some of those permanent deals for us to be able to move them into Super Elite. And for that reason, it is going to be a A. And then to the other L side, which the other team that begins with an L, I think their transfer window has been a bit of an L. It is going to be Leicester City. I'm not too happy with Leicester City's transfer, Doug. I have to say that.
I mean, Castagna is a very good signing. They've just got in Wesley Fofana as well from Saint Etienne as well, but they do need to strengthen. They definitely need to strengthen before the window closes. It's really difficult for me. I don't think it's an F because I think Castagna they were crying out for a left back when Chilwell left.
They were off that Chilwell lost, yeah.
Chilwell left for Chelsea. So,
are we saying D?
I would say D. Yeah.
It's not good enough. Even looking at their squad last season, although they had that terrific start, I mean, they really did start to fall off because they don't have the depth that they need around the squad. I mean, look, midfield-wise, they've got way more than enough midfielders. But in terms of defense, they need to strengthen. In terms of attack, they need to strengthen. I mean, Fofana, as you said, they did get that brand new striker, but I mean, £35 million for him. I'm not going to lie. I'm not ashamed to say this. I've never heard of him before in my life, before this. So 35 million for him is that's over the top. But Castagna, I thought he had a great debut. He is looking promising. Whether he'll reach Chilwell's level, it's hard to predict. But at the meantime, it's just really not good enough if Leicester City want to compete the same way they did last season. So I'm sorry, Leicester, or did I say Fulham? I'm sorry, Leicester. It is going to be a D. Now, of course, Doug, I think this is the realm where you are going to be more comfortable, or the most comfortable. Liverpool.
Yeah, we've had a very good window. Tsimikas, Thiago, and Diogo Jota. I think they were 3 signings that were definitely needed to be made, especially in the left back area. We've been lacking at left back, and I think looking at that, Kostas Tsimikas is a very good signing. Good backup as well. Diogo Jota, good backup for the front 3 as well. And Thiago, what can we say? The best midfielder probably in world football right now, like creative midfielder. So to get him for £20 million was just unbelievable. So I'm not going to try and sound biased, but for me, I think it's been a super window for Liverpool. I'm going to put them in Super Elite.
I don't know if I would necessarily go that far. I think, well, for me personally, it is an A because looking at the squad in general, I mean, look, of course, 3 world-class signings have been brought in, being obviously Jota. I think Jota could start at almost any Premier League club. He would be on the starting lineup, so that is superb. Thiago, obviously, we spoke about it in a former How to Fix Barcelona video, which, cheeky plug. There it is in the top corner. You'll see it edited on my video. You guys can check that out where we talk about how to fix Barcelona. Thiago is a world-class player. And of course, Tamika's in the left-back position. I mean, look, they're just adding depth and depth. But looking at players gone out, look, they won't miss Lallana too much because, I think Thiago is a pretty good replacement for Lallana. And in terms of Lovren, I don't know. I think they might, Liverpool, for me to get a superb transfer window, I do think they do need another backup centre-back at least. And then, of course, Brewster moving away to Sheffield United for £20 million. That is actually extremely good for a young striker like him, and Liverpool have done very well with that. So are we saying it is a superb one or just a A? What are we saying?
Let's go for an A minus. Not quite super, but it's getting towards that.
Yes. Maybe like one more backup centre back, and then it's a superb. And then, of course, both of our rivals, the worst club with no history to them whatsoever, Manchester City. What are we saying?
Tricky one. Ruben Diaz, great signing. Ferran Torres,
100%.
very good signing. I still think they still need a few players. If Aguero's injured right now, Jesus is injured, are they going to be able to rely on a 17-year-old Liam Delap? Probably not, for like week in, week out. So
it is very tricky. So I'm not super happy with them. It's either, look, I think we're both going to the same place of maybe an A minus, B plus, that kind of range.
yeah,
Because it is going to be extremely tricky. Look, defensively, that was their problem last season. They have definitely fixed that. But now this season, striker-wise, they've got no... Look, it's also they've been very unlucky with that. I think Ferran Torres could be a really good backup option on the wing. Aka and Diaz, of course. Of course, Silva went out on a free. Otamendi, they got rid of for 15. Sane, they got rid of 45. Bravo left on free. I don't know. They also need a backup goalkeeper. As we said, they need maybe another striker option. I think we're both happy with them, but in order to get a solid A, I think they do need to really strengthen in the striker and backup goalkeeper position. Are we saying B?
yeah, B for me. Yeah.
Okay, and then, this is my realm. This is where I talk. Glory, glory, Man United, the whole story, blah, 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 blah. I'm not happy, Manchester United. We supposedly signed Jadon Sancho about 4 weeks ago. Why is it taking so long to unveil? It's almost as if it hasn't happened. I can't believe, I don't know, United just genuinely annoys me. And it's not just the fact that Donny van de Beek's the only player who's come in. It's the fact that we got rid of a player like Sanchez for free. I know Sanchez isn't the be-all that he used to be, but to get rid of Alexis Sanchez for free isn't good enough. I think it's good business, though, to put Pereira and Chong out on loan. But the fact that Donny van de Beek is the only player to come in for United, yes, he will be a great signing. He does add depth, but literally the midfield is the only thing that didn't need boosting last season. Attack needed boosting, defense needed boosting. What are you saying as my rival, Doug? What are you saying about United?
It's not been a good window for you guys, unfortunately. I mean, Van de Beek is a very good signing, no doubt about it. I think you have needed a box-to-box midfielder. But the fact that you've not gone for like any alternatives for Sancho, and I mean, I know that Dembele's been linked. Honestly, you would need the Dembulance for the amount of times he's going to be injured.
He's not going to play a single game. We're just going to pay his hospital bill. Awful. I don't want that.
I think keeping Dean Henderson was key. I think he will play more this season. I'm surprised you're getting rid of Delo, though. I believe he's away to AC Milan. I think that's a real big surprise. But It's really, really difficult. I think left back is needed. I think right wingers needed. I think probably a defensive midfielder's needed as well.
Or centre back at least as well. Yeah, it's not. Look, I don't mind giving it United a D. This, I mean, not quite. I mean, I don't know. It's either a D or an F for me. I'm not proud of United. One thing that I do think we should do? I love the man too, but I do think if we keep Dean Henderson, we need to sell Sergio Romero for a good 10 million at least.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Sergio Romero is one of those goalkeepers who deserves a chance as a number one, but he's not going to get a Manchester United, and especially with Henderson and De Gea fighting out for that number one. I would give Manchester United a D, but that's been very, very kind because I was very, very close to giving it an F, but I'm going to give them a D.
The fact that they haven't done absolutely nothing, I think, saves them from doing an F. The fact that they got Donny van de Beek, and the fact that he was 35 million or however much we got him for, that's actually a pretty bargain deal. But as far as it goes, it will just be a D. And then next up is a team who I think has done pretty well. It is going to be Newcastle United. They've brought in some really good players from the relegation zone.
Mike Ashley decides to spend for once. Callum Wilson, Callum Wilson, Jeff Hendrick, Jamal Lewis. And there's another one off the top of my head I can't think of right now. But Fraser, that's it. Super window for Newcastle. I think they've strengthened in the right places. Badly needed a left back. Badly needed a striker. Callum Wilson is that striker who's going to get them goals. Joe Linton.
He really creates beautiful chances, yeah.
Yeah, really poor last season. So, yeah, I'm going towards an A, maybe a super elite. What do you think?
I've got them down as an A. I think they look pretty solid, but in terms, to get a super elite, I do think maybe they need a new centre back or maybe even another midfielder. But at the moment, I think Newcastle should be very proud of themselves. Looking at these players they've brought in, I mean, they've absolutely raided the relegation zone from last season, and it's pretty impressive. Look, it's not the takeover they wanted. It's like wanting a bike for Christmas, but instead your parents say no, but last minute they get you a puppy. It's not a bike. It's not going to take you to amazing places, but we all like having a puppy. I think it's a good thing at the end of the day. I think Newcastle United are going to be very happy. And then, next team up is going to be Sheffield United, who I don't know. I'm very mixed with Sheffield United. I genuinely don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm quite mixed on them as well. I know they've signed Aaron Ramsdale, but he's no Dean Henderson. But
he's not, sadly.
He was there before. I mean, they signed Wes Foderingham as well from Rangers, who was a very, very good backup to Alan McGregor at Rangers. But to go to Sheffield United backup, it's a weird one. They've signed Graham Brewster, which they badly needed a striker because McBurney is hot and cold. McGoldrick's getting really old now, and Billy Sharp as well, and Lise Mousset as well. He's hot and cold as well. So the fact that they haven't scored a goal this season so far,
a single one, no.
Yeah, it's really tricky. But I'm sort of going towards B and C. What do you think about Sheffield United?
Yeah, I think I'm same boat. I think I do have them down as a B because looking at other signings, I mean, Ampadu on loan. I don't think that's, or do they? Yeah, they've got Ampadu on loan, the ex-Chelsea centre-back. I think he could potentially do a solid job because from my time remembering him playing at Chelsea, he didn't do too bad a job. I'm sure he's a lot more experienced now. They do have, I think it's pronounced Bogle. Is that it? From Derby County, young right back. He's been linked to clubs for quite a while now. So that's quite a big signing for 3.8. Brewster, of course, is a huge one. So I think I'm going to put them on B because at the end of the day, I think Brewster is what boosts them to a B instead of a C or a D. But they do need a creative midfielder who is able to do the job, or creative wingers. But in the meantime, B, it's not the worst. Sheffield United are not going to get relegated, but they also won't get to the top 10.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you.
Yeah, and the club in S is going to be Southampton. Now, I don't know if I'm that happy with Southampton. I mean, Kyle Walker-Peters, look, Spurs. you got rid of 2 Kyle Walkers in the space of like 3-4 years. That has to be a record. I don't think that's ever been done by a team before. But yeah, got him on a permanent deal for 13 million and got Salisu from Real Valladolid for 12 million. I think those are huge, but they've literally gotten rid of their whole midfield. They've gotten rid of Reed, Lamina. They got rid of Højbjerg to Tottenham Hotspurs for 16. So it's a pretty good deal. And then Cedric Suarez to Arsenal. I don't know. Southampton hasn't done enough. I don't think they'll do as well as last season.
Yeah, I think they need to strengthen before the window's out. Really, really difficult one. It's not quite an F because I think they've made some good signings, and Kyle Walker-Peters, which I think is a fantastic signing for them, and that's Salisu as well from Real Valladolid, or however you want to pronounce it as well. Probably between a C and a D. What do you think?
Yeah, I've also got C or D. I mean, written down as a C, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that they've gotten 2 new defenders, yet they've sold 3 midfielders here. And if they don't sign a new midfielder, they will be in trouble. So for me, it is unfortunately Southampton going to be a D. Looking at the next team we have, on paper, this looks flippin' fantastic. Tottenham Hotspurs. What a good job for Spurs. I mean, they got Lo Celso on a permanent deal, 32 million. Rougelin looks absolutely amazing in his first few games. I mean, he creates chances. He's fast defensively. He puts all in. Dirty in the right-back position. I mean, he looked fantastic. The highest scoring Irishman in the Premier League last season. For a right-back, not too bad. Højbjerg from Southampton. I've got no comments. That's a bit of a Danny Drinkwater to Chelsea kind of transfer, in my opinion. Vinicius on loan from Benfica. Joe Hart. I mean, he used to be England's number 1, so as a backup option, not too bad. And don't know if I've ever seen this name before. Gareth Bale on loan. So they're not even paying his full wage, but they didn't pay for him. I mean, that's not too bad. And the only real, player going out is Vertonghen for free.
Yeah, it's been a good window for Spurs, it has to be said. They've strengthened in the right places, and to get Gareth Bale back on loan is, that's going to be fantastic for them when he's fit, obviously. Reguilon, great player for Sevilla. Going to be very, very interesting how he does in the Premier League, but looking good so far. Doherty is a fantastic signing. As you said, one of the highest Irishmen scoring last season in the Premier League was fantastic. Højbjerg's a weird one. I don't know. I just don't see him fitting into Spurs midfield.
No, not at all. That's why I said it's like Danny Drinkwater to Chelsea. Let's be honest, he's going to go on loan next season.
I totally agree. And Vinicius from Benfica. I have to admit, I have never heard of Vinicius. And I did something very, very funny yesterday when he was announced. I said that had they signed Vinicius Junior, because that was the only Vinicius I knew. But I think it's going between an A and maybe super elite. What do you think?
No, I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I think I'm going to have to give them an A for the fact that the great midfielders and attackers and fullbacks coming into the club. But to get rid of Vertonghen and not really replace that centre-back, I am a bit worried because at the moment, Eric Dyer, he can be a good centre-back, but at the end of the day, I don't think that's his primary position.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they've been in talks with Skriniar from Inter Milan, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so either. I wouldn't be surprised if no new centre-back came in. I mean, it all depends if Eric Dyer goes for another toilet again. They might have a chance to bring in a new centre-back. But I think Spurs, we are pretty happy giving them an A, a pretty solid transfer window, but they do need a new centre-back. Now, getting into the W's, the third last team we have, which, by the way, guys, if you have enjoyed the Dugout Football channel, is Doug's channel, please go subscribe. If you're not, my channel, Finn Kraus Football, please do consider subscribing. The first W team we have is West Brom. Now, Ivanovic, ex-Chelsea legend, for free. They've got, I don't know, some random West Ham striker for 13 million. Never heard of him before. They've got Pereira, now official signing from Sporting Lisbon, and Kepre from Reading. Now, in terms of player going out, I mean, look, they're all championship players. There are no big players that have gone out. But I don't know. West Brom's also a tricky one for me. What do you think, Doug?
It's a very tricky one, as you say, because they have strengthened with Ivanovic, with Kipre, with Diangana from West Ham. They have Pereira as well. There is talk that Charlie Austin's going to Derby County on loan for the rest of the season, so that might be very interesting. But for me, striker, because if Callum Robinson gets injured, if Hal Robson-Kanu gets injured, then they're really struggling. So I do believe that they're very close to signing Carlon Grant from Huddersfield. I think they'll probably get that one over the line. It's been a good window, but it's not been the best window, I'd say, for West Brom, and I think they're one of the clubs that's been really affected by the COVID as well. So
and lockdown and that, yeah. It's a tricky one because dare I say it, with the squad, I still think they're going to get relegated. I don't even see this squad getting them out of relegations, and for that reason, I don't know if they'll come dead last. They might still. It's going to be a C or a D for me. I'm actually leaning towards a D.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's not quite an F, but it is a D for me.
Yeah. Now, talking about a team who, in my opinion, could potentially get an F, it is going to be West Ham United, who, yes, did get Souček on a permanent deal for £16 million, but that is a player who, even last season, he was at the club, although not permanent, the club still didn't do good. They still didn't do well, rather, should I say. But West Ham, I mean, to think how close they were to getting relegated last season, to think the only actual player coming in is a player that played for them last season, and players going out, I mean, Sanchez and Zabaleta are now out of club. Those are, although not in their prime, still really decent players. Yeah, I don't think that West Ham United have done enough by any means.
It's disastrous window for West Ham. They've needed to strengthen in certain areas, and they haven't. I know they got a left back. I think it's Cabral from I think it was Getafe. I think from memory.
I think so, yes.
But for me, it's an F. It's been a big fail for West Ham.
Solid F.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a solid F for me. They are not looking good. And I mean, I don't understand how, on paper, Halle, Antonio, and Felipe Anderson, that is an amazing attack. But they really just can't string two passes together. They are looking horrible. To me, the only saving grace in that, look, let's be honest, I don't think, whether it's this transfer window or the next one, they won't be able to hold on to Declan Rice, in my opinion.
I agree. I think before the deadline comes, I think you'll see Chelsea coming in for Rice. I think it could go down to the wire, that one. But yeah, if Declan Rice leaves West Ham, then you could see riots from West Ham fans. They are not happy with the board right now.
No, and understandably so. I mean, look, they put a lot of money into the club. It's a bit like what Everton looked like 2 seasons ago when they had to sack Marco Silva. It just didn't look good for the amount of money they were putting in. But talking about money, looking at the last team, which is also a very tricky one, it is going to be Wolverhampton Wanderers, who, looking at their business, they got rid of one of the best right wings in the league, in my opinion, Doherty, for £16 million. I think they could have at least gotten 20 for him. They got rid of Jota to Liverpool for 44 million. And Costa, I think that is a huge loss. Costa leaving Wolves to Leeds United. I mean, look, to get rid of both attackers in the likes of both Helder Costa and Jota, huge loss. And all Wolves have really brought in, I mean, they've brought in a fair amount of good players, like Fabio Silva from Porto. I think that could be decent. 40 million is a bit excessive for a player. Haven't heard too much about. Semedo from Barcelona could be decent. He won't be as good as Doherty. And then obviously Liverpool player, is it Doug Hoover, the young Dutch centre back?
Hoyvier. That's how you.
Wait, I'm just testing you there.
It's a really difficult one to say. Yeah, look, Wolves, Vitinha, Fabio Silva. I mean, Semedo Hoiver.
Marcel.
Yeah, it's like a Portuguese B team almost. It's
Yeah, no, they looked. I saw an article the other day. Wolves can now start a Portuguese international team. They literally have 11 Portuguese internationals in their team. That is, I mean, Wolves are going to be in the Euros next year. That's insane.
That's mad, isn't it?
That's rather mad. But whether they might be in the Euros, but will they be in Europe in the Premier League this season? I'm not too sure with this squad.
No, I'm not sure. I think they've got good squad, but the loss of Jota is a big loss. I think losing Doherty is a big loss, but I would give them a B.
I think on paper, I think their transfers have been very, very good. I mean, to think that's a lot of money. If you add the Jota and Costa, the two attackers that they got rid of, that's 60 million. You can buy a seriously decent attacker with that, except for the fact that they put 40 of that into Fabio Silva. I don't know how they did that. Tomato, I think that's an excellent signing. Whether he's worth more than Doherty, not too sure, but I think I'm somewhat okay with going for a B. It's not the worst transfer window. They maybe could have done better, but at the end of the day, I think they'll still be a top 10 team.
I agree. I think I had them between 7th and 8th. I think they finished 7th in every single season that they've been in the Premier League. So, if they can get that, again. I think they'll be happy.
Yeah, unfortunately, look, I think now that Everton is looking strong, I don't think Wolves will finish 7th again. I think they'll probably finish 8th or 9th by the looks of things. But guys, otherwise, that is it for our ranking of every Premier League team's transfer window. If you have watched until this point, I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you had some popcorn with you. Maybe we should have given you a popcorn warning beforehand, had some Coke, had some beer. Whatever you do on your weekend, on your weekday, that's up to you. But thank you, Doug, so much for joining me on this video. Once again, if you're not subscribed to either of us, why not? We had a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and subscribe to me and subscribe to Finn as well. It's been a pleasure, and thank you very much for having me again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doug. I had a lot of fun. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Liverpool fan, not subscribe to me, Fellaini under your bed. If you are a United fan, not subscribe to Doug, you will get Divock Origi in your shower. So make sure if you don't want that, please do consider subscribing. But thank you, everyone, so much for watching. And thank you, Doug.
Thank you. See you later.
See you later. And to all of you, love and appreciate every single one of you. Stay awesome. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.
I know that I gotta stay away.